Hi, everyone. This is episode 1235. It's Blind Magic in Alice Springs, and I am your presenter and host, Murray Stewart. Okay, women and girls in sport. I love coaching women and girls in the sport of track and field athletics, and I'm very, very happy that we are finally having the debate about trans athletes competing in women's sport. I am, because I know how hard women and girls work to get to where they want to go in track and field athletics. They work just as hard as the boys, and to think that they will then have to compete against a biological male and get flogged just because of that fact is so unfair. And it's so not needed, absolutely not needed. Do I think that there should be a place for trans athletes? Absolutely I do. Transgender athletes? Absolutely I do. We should be looking to what we can do to include transgender athletes in track and field. And of course, that would involve developing a category for those athletes, so they too can, get the joy that other, the boys and girls, men and women do from this wonderful sport. But you cannot have a biological male competing against a female and expect that there'll be any other result other than the biological male wins and wins handsomely. And that is unfair. That is absolutely unfair. There is all sorts of rules and regulations in track and field to prevent drug cheating. That is, taking a drug that gives you an advantage. That makes you a cheat, does it not? So what is the difference between that and having a biological male full of testosterone competing against a female? Answer: no difference. It is unfair, and therefore, by definition, it is cheating. But as I said, there should be a place for transgender athletes in track and field. 100% there should. And I, for one, would be very, very happy to coach a transgender athlete to compete in that category. I would, 100% I would step up, and I would give them just as much time as any of the other athletes I have ever coached. So we just need to look at this logically, with common sense. And if we do that, then I do believe we can find a solution. But the solution cannot be that girls and women are unfairly beaten in their chosen sport. And I can tell you that's exactly what would happen. So I'm very, very relieved. I currently am coaching a young female athlete who has got the goods, in my view, to become a very, very strong 400-metre competitor. And wow, does she train. Oh, yes, she trains very, very hard. And she's got a steel-trapped mind, and she has amazing power and speed. But I had been thinking for such a long time that common sense was going to go right out the window, and eventually she would become the victim of unfairness based around this want to include transgender athletes in female track and field. And that would be incredibly unfair. And particularly considering, as I know, how hard an athlete like the athlete I'm currently training, how hard they work, how strong they want. Yeah, it's flat out cheating, no doubt about it. And if we do develop this other category for biological males, a transgender category, then they will find their place in our sport, as they should. And I have no issue with that. And that's what we should turn our attentions to. So I am very, very pleased that America, through President Trump, has turned his attention to this area. And it would appear now that even in the upcoming Australian election, Mr. Dutton will turn his attention to this area as well. He's already signalled his intention to do so, and his beliefs seem to line up pretty much with what I have just espoused. And you know what it is, folks? It's straight up, flat out common sense. That's what it is, folks. And if you stick to that rule, common sense, in my view, you will bring the public with you, and you'll bring the sports with you. And most importantly, you will then support all of those athletes out there who are training extremely hard to get to where they truly want to go. Yes, what's burning in their heart, we must support. Okay, Hayley, where are we at? What episode is this one?
1235.
And that's the completion of this episode. Episode 1235 has come to an end, and this has been a Blind Magic Communications production.